Welcome back to CryptosRUs. I'm George. We're all George. Welcome to another Market Open stream. It is the start of a new week, and we have some big things to look forward to that could cause a lot of volatility starting today. A lot of geopolitical stuff still ongoing, a lot of macro stuff that will be happening. And that is why smart money, the big investors, the whales, are loading up on gold, silver, and even Bitcoin. And that might surprise you. So let's talk about all these things and more. All right, let's do it, guys. Welcome. Oops, the price is cut off there. Unfortunately, we are starting out lower than last week. We're at 87.4, although we did recover back up from that drop, that dip to 86K yesterday. And I mentioned about Asia. I mentioned about the possibility of a shutdown. I'll recover those today. We got more info. But that's the reason why we fell, and then we ticked up a little bit. Now we're sitting right at that resistance slash support. So let's see if Bitcoin can hold. The US market is opening up green, surprisingly. Okay, not red, green, although our favorite crypto stocks like MicroStrategy and Coinbase and Robinhood are all opening in the red right now. It seems like Wall Street is a little fearful about crypto, at least near term, but that's not the same for the whales, and I'll get to that. So what are some geopolitical stuff that's weighing the market down right now? Okay, well, obviously, it seems like NATO and all these European nations are not very happy with the US because of this Greenland takeover, talk, and it's happening. It seems like US is forcing the issue. Right, so tensions are high, even though it has been de-escalated. Trump said he's not going to use the military action. He's not going to force it, but he's forcing it through other ways. So you got European leaders and ex-NATO, ex-NATO chair or something, president, former European Commission President Jean-Michel Barroso said, basically, things are tense and Trump is going America first. Well, that's how it should be. If you're an American president, it's America first, right? But I don't know, maybe Europe or NATO was thinking, no, we're all a big family. We all need to watch out for each other. But Trump is like, no, it's America first. He's American president. He's not NATO president, which it makes sense. But the way I guess he approached it is arguably probably not the right way to do it. And that's why it caused the market to react very negatively. But, that's Trump. He does what he wants. And sometimes it turns out for the better. Is that the right way to say it? Like in this case, Canada's Carney basically said, no, we're not going to pursue a free trade deal with China anymore, because Trump heard of that and said, no, you're not going to be doing that. And if you do, we're going to slap on 100% tariff. And then Carney's like, no, we're not doing that. So whether the tariffs are legal or illegal still has not been ruled by Supreme Court. They are 100% effective. That's for sure. Countries are deathly scared of being tariffed. That is something that I've never heard or seen before. You just threaten to slap some tariffs and people just come in line. It's quite amazing. So Canada is folding. So that doesn't help the situation, I guess, with markets. What else? What else is there? The government shutdown. So ICE killed another American citizen in Minnesota. Obviously not a good thing. And now the Senate Democrats are voting or vowing to block this bill that would fund the government. It's like a $1.2 trillion bill. So because it has funding for Homeland Security, which gives funding to ICE. So this also has a lot of people concerned, right? This is internal, not external. I mean, external, I just mentioned how there's so many things, and there's more things external too. But internal, we have this to worry about. So if this doesn't get resolved quickly, we will have another government shutdown this Friday. I don't know if it's extensive as the last one, but no one wants a government shutdown. Okay, no one wants a government shutdown. We just had one. It was the longest ever last year. And markets were really bad because of it. So let's hope we don't have another one. This whole situation with ICE, you know, it's messy. Hopefully it gets resolved. But yeah, so potentially we could have another government shutdown to worry about. So again, one of the reasons why everything seems to have fallen a little bit. And going back to geopolitical stuff, you know, Japan is also suffering. So this is probably the biggest reason why I think we fell yesterday. Because all of a sudden, when the futures market of Asia opens up, that was when Bitcoin and crypto fell. So there's a lot of concern about Japan, again, over their yen and how it's falling like crazy and how Japan has to intervene. Not only that, the U.S. may have to intervene for Japan, and I don't even understand how. But it seems like the financial market for Japan's currency, I mean, how everything works is just in a big bad state. Let's put it that way. So this also has a lot of people scared and running towards gold and silver, and right now not Bitcoin, although I think that will change. There are still a lot of big money loading up. But right now, as you can see, silver's at 110, which is crazy. Absolute crazy. And then it's up 7%. And gold is up 2% at 5,100. But man, look at silver. From the beginning of the year till now, it went up 30%, you know, within a very short amount of time. And all the geopolitical stuff that's happening is what's driving a lot of money into silver and gold. There's no doubt about it. Geopolitical stuff, macro stuff, just fear overall, FUD uncertainty is driving investors to commodities like gold and silver, but it's more than that. They're the only ones that are going up right now too. So it's not like you're just putting your money in stable coins. It's not like gold and silver staying steady. They're skyrocketing right now compared to everything else. So that is causing more liquidity to flow into them. Right? So any fear with stocks, with risk-on assets, with crypto, people are pulling out their liquidity and putting into gold and silver at this point. So that's really it. Now, what does that mean? Are we going to see something positive come back, you know, about Bitcoin? All this money that left, is it coming back? Are we going to see that? Yes, we will. Okay. We need a spark. We need something to jolt us upwards this year. And a lot of it is that liquidity, the business cycle, we're waiting for that to happen. And this week actually will set the tone for it. So Wednesday, we will have another FOMC meeting. Very controversial meeting, I think. Not that we're going to get any rate cuts, but Powell's going to be asked some very tough questions, okay, about his own state, being pressured by the Department of Justice, what he's going to do about it, if he's going to stay on as a Fed board governor. He has the right to do so. Even after stepping down as chair, which is going to happen like May, he could still stay on as a board of governor for 2 more years until 2028. And he may do that just to spite Trump and the administration. So you're not going to get rid of him. That may be the reason why this whole Department of Justice investigation happened, is kind of to like force him out and make sure he doesn't stay for another 2 years. But anyways, besides that, he's going to be answering a whole lot about, you know, what to expect, especially with all this uncertainty. The next FOMC, the next Fed chair is going to be more pro-cutting. And there's been, Moran is already on there, and he's pro-cutting. And some of the other ones like Waller, that's New York Fed president, he's already more prone. He likes the prospect of cutting to save jobs. So if we get all these new governors or existing ones to turn pro-cutting, then that's definitely going to increase liquidity and cause the business cycle to recover. Because right now it's just down because of the elevated rates, and we haven't had that many cuts to really jolt things upwards. So this FOMC meeting will be really interesting. Very, very, very interesting. But besides that, we have other data like jobless claims, factory orders, wholesale, usual stuff. But Friday we'll get inflation reading. That's going to be important too. Inflation is still high. It doesn't seem to be ticking higher. It's just like kind of holding, but it's not coming down either. So all these things will be very important. Very, very important. We need that business cycle to improve. We need that jolt, right? We need that liquidity. And that's how we're going to get back on track. And with all the geopolitical stuff ending, yeah, we'll get back on track. ETF inflows from last week, Friday, wasn't great. Negative 100 million for Bitcoin, negative 41 million for ETH. XRP still had a positive day, and Sol, but very little. Very, very little. So Wall Street right now, again, selling because they don't like what they see. The geopolitical stuff is not good. And it's not, and let me be clear, it's not just crypto too. It's all risk on assets. So if you look at tech last week, the last 2 weeks, not good at all. So it's not just a Bitcoin crypto thing. Anything that's deemed risk on assets, like with higher volatility, higher potential gains, sold off for lower potential gains. But in this case, silver and gold have been giving the best gains. So it's kind of like, okay, what do you do with that, right? That's why you probably see more money flow into them right now. And that's why we saw the largest second realized loss event, okay, over the last week. We had a huge liquidation event, actually 2 liquidation events. One day was like minus 600 million. Another was minus $1 billion or something like that. So we're definitely seeing a lot of fear right now in Bitcoin and crypto. A lot of it. A lot of alts have been absolutely decimated over the last 2 weeks. And Bitcoin has basically fallen down to our previous low level, although not as low because we did go down to like 80,000 in December. We're not quite there yet. We're just hovering around that resistance 87K. But unfortunately, we lost all the upside momentum. We were just at 97,000 just what, a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago? It seems like that momentum has reset. But here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. Remember how fast things moved. Starting the new year, we quickly gained momentum and moved upwards from 80K to 97K, almost at 100K within a couple weeks. That goes to show you that money wants to come in. Money wants to come into Bitcoin, and a lot of alts recovered quickly within those 2 weeks as well. And then unfortunately we got reset because all geopolitical stuff. But it goes to show you the appetite. It's not gone. It's just money sitting on the sidelines or sitting in silver and gold right now. They will return. And if you look at our current movement right now is very similar, very, very similar to 2018. Unfortunately, that's not a good thing. But if you look at 2018, starting in August, you had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 consecutive down months, okay, leading into 2019. But look at February to June, crazy recovery in 2019. So 2025 actually looked very similar. August was down, but we had an up September. But then we had 1, 2, 3, October, November, December. And then at this month still is red. Well, that mimics 2018. You know, again, that momentum is there. It's pent up like pressure. So once we get through it, we can bounce back really fast, really hard, just like the first 2 weeks of this month. Just got to be patient. You got to be patient and continue to hold on and believe, really, like Saylor. At this point, he really has no choice. But he did acquire another almost 3,000 Bitcoin, 2,932. Average price of 90,000. Unfortunately, he always seems to buy at top. But now he holds 712,000 Bitcoin. Average price of 76,000. So we're still above there, right? He believes, and he will continue DCA. He's showing the way, right? What a strong hand, what a believer does. Despite volatility and despite a lot of FUD now. If you look at a lot of comments, people are just picking on him on X. You know, when times are good, everyone's positive. When times are bad, they all flip to negative. So he's doing that despite all the negativity because he says he's seen this before with others, with other stocks, with other commodities. And he's going to stick with it with Bitcoin. He believes the strategy is solid. Now, here's something else to look forward to. I talked about how the yen needs to be intervened. Okay. And the Fed, the US, might have to intervene. I don't know what that means. If we're going to be buying the yen or something, or we're going to buy their bonds or something. But apparently this happened in 2024 too. Okay, when we had that carry trade situation. And you know what? Bitcoin fell about 30%. And then right afterwards, we went up 120%. Right? Again, we have that pent-up energy, that willingness to buy. But people just want to see the momentum shift, right? That's why the first 2 weeks of this year, we saw such a tremendous recovery. And we will see that again. We just need some momentum. We need to see the upwards movement. That's what people are waiting for, right? But again, that's retail. That's Wall Street. That's just like general investors. But you have a lot of people, the OGs, the ones that have lived through a couple of cycles, the long-term holders, okay? They're not going anywhere. They're staying put and they're DCAing because they have lived through this. They have lived through worse times. I have. And we know we always move past it. We know we will recover, right? And there are a lot of signs that show that we will, like how undervalued Bitcoin is versus the global liquidity. Even though global liquidity is not skyrocketing, but still is very undervalued. It's also undervalued against gold. And apparently, every 4 years, we see this. How if you measure Bitcoin with gold, you'll see that there are times where gold really shines and Bitcoin lags. And then Bitcoin quickly recovers. It happens every 4 years. It happened last time after the last top, 2021 top. It went down. You see that green line? How Bitcoin versus gold just did not do well, right? It happened in 2018. It's happening right now, but right now it's a little different because gold is skyrocketing. Not that Bitcoin is really falling like crypto winter, but gold is skyrocketing. But nevertheless, you compare the two or the three, and you see, okay, it's very similar. And then what happens afterwards? Bitcoin picks itself up and recovers and catches up. So long-term holders understand this, and I think most of you guys are, otherwise you wouldn't be here. We always talk about those CME gaps, those nasty CME gaps that bring us downwards. But we have a couple that's on the upside now. There's one at 89 and there's one at 93. Okay, every single time we fill these. Normally speaking, it sucks because the CME gaps are the downside. And even though we're really elevated, somehow we always fill it. But this time, upwards, right? We know when we recover, we'll go fill these eventually. But maybe this caused Wall Street to fill them in faster than usual. I don't know. We always seem to fill the bottom gaps for some reason. It's time to move to the upside. All right. Outside of this stuff, I don't know. There's really not much else. World Liberty Financial is now loading up on Ethereum due to all these companies that are now forming Ethereum treasuries. World Liberty Financial is doing the same. They don't want to miss out. Okay. I don't know how much Trump and his family actually weighs in on these decisions. I don't know. I actually don't know. I think they're part of it, but I don't know if they make these decisions or not. Anyways, Solana still leads fees because on-chain activity is skyrocketing. I don't know what's causing that online activity surge, but maybe it's due to Clash and Clash picks. I don't know. I don't know what's surging, but Solana is definitely leading the way when it comes to transactions. That's for sure. That is pretty much it. Silver still climbing, 111 soon. Gold almost at 110. Robinhood is slightly up today, so there's that. MicroStrategy and Coinbase still down. Bitcoin didn't really move. Sol is recovering a little bit from yesterday's dip. It dipped down to like 117. Now it's back to 123. So it's a little bit of recovery, but it was at like 127, 128. And Clash is still holding very strong at 45 million market cap. Very exciting. Clash picks will be out soon. I'd say by the end of this week or next week. And then we're going to go full bull mode for Clash. Hitting conferences, doing extreme marketing pushes. We're going to make Clash picks the not number one prediction marketplace, but we're going to make it a real competitor, that's for sure. All right, let's do some Q&A. Michael Taylor in trouble. Will's on the sideline waiting. Who's Michael Taylor? Clash picks. Made some more upgrades. People are making some crazy predictions now. With Clash, with P-Clash, our volume is going up. The system has been audited and tested. We got the results back. So not that many fixes that we need to do, but we got our domain name ready. After we implement the fixes, we point the domain name to the prod site, and then we have to recreate all the events, and it's good. I'm gonna be hitting a conference later this week, Wall Street Bets. They have their own conference. I don't know what to expect. It's the first time I've been there. Hopefully it's a good event. It's in the Miami conference hall, like convention center. So it should be big. We're gonna be demoing Clash Picks there, and I think we're gonna get really good reception. So I've been telling you guys this. We got about like 200 plus people that are actively beta testing this platform right now. You guys need to get in on this. For those of you guys that's been too lazy to join our Discord to get whitelisted, get in on this, try it, and realize how good this platform is. It's free to predict. We have a free to predict model, which no one else has. We have a leaderboard, which allows you to win real prizes with it. We have so many things built into here that others don't. Social sharing, creator events. It's just really amazing, and it's so simple to understand. So get in on this before it's too late. And we have one of the strongest communities there is. Man, people are just like going nuts about silver. I did say I FOMO'd in on a silver ETF like a couple weeks ago. And that has done really well. What is the market cap of silver versus gold? I mean, silver has done so well. There was a market cap site I used to go to. Let's see. Yeah, it's this one. And then you could add in here. Silver is sitting at a 6.2 trillion market cap. You know, Bitcoin was like neck and neck with silver back in the day, but man, silver has really pulled away right now. But this is also the reason why I think people love silver, because it's still very undervalued versus gold, and it's used in a lot of electronics. Bitcoin is still the 8th largest asset by market cap. Did I buy any physical silver at Costco? No. When I saw it, I was thinking like, it's probably a good buy if silver goes up. But here's the thing, okay? I think everyone knows this. What's happening with silver and gold is unnatural right now, okay? We get the point. I get it. With uncertainty, people are tuning into something, right? Like tuning like it. Like I've always said, gold and silver is almost like stable coins for the stock market. So investors turn to them whenever they feel like, okay, there's a lot of risk, uncertainty, we need to sell our risk on assets. They go to gold and silver. But like we got into a point where it's not like that anymore. silver and gold has become like the investments because they're giving the best gains. I mean, like silver's up almost 8% today. Like that shouldn't happen. It shouldn't happen. And if you're charting silver, it is very, very overbought right now. On a daily chart, the RSI is above 80. And look at how that's parabolic. That mimics like Bitcoin's movement. When Bitcoin goes parabolic, that's what it looks like. Okay, so that's what's happening with silver. So, you know, I see some people, same thing with gold. I mean, look at the RSI and stochastic. They're topped out. Gold is at like 82, 83 RSI. So you got to figure eventually the bubble will burst. They will come down. We have seen periods like this where they go up, maybe not nearly as much as now, but money will flow out, right? The bubble will burst. Now, does that mean gold and silver go fall back 50% and retrace 50%? Probably not. But can they retrace 20, 30% from here? Yes, because they went up 20, 30% within just a month. So can they retrace down? Definitely, right? I think a lot, it has to do with, I think, how the market is perceived, okay? Like I said, we need a jolt. We need something to show that momentum could be maintained by risk-on assets, by tech, by AI, by crypto. That's when the money starts going back into them, and that's when you see the rotation. And that may be when you see the top for gold and silver, right? But right now, there's like phenomenon. Everyone's FOMOing in because it's the two hot plays. But you still have to be careful. This doesn't mean that this is going to keep going forever. It's just like every time Bitcoin shoots upwards and we reach some new astronomical top, it's the same thing. You know, we will see some kind of top, some trial retracement, and then we keep going. Eventually, we're going to see that for both. It's just I don't know when we're going to see that. It could be soon. Maybe all the geopolitical stuff and macro stuff gets better. But right now, we're just not seeing a whole lot of momentum with anything other than those two. You know? Yeah, I think we'll have Clash Picks done before the Super Bowl. So recently, we've been making a lot of sports events. They've been doing really well. So we're definitely going to be live before the Super Bowl. So we'll have a ton of events around the Super Bowl. And of course, the NBA and all these other sports. We'll have total sports integration in there soon. Right now, we're manually creating the sports events, but soon we'll have total integration. If Saylor has to sell a ton of Bitcoin, won't the price crater? That's assuming he needs to sell a ton of Bitcoin. So, I mean, look at it. He buys billions per week, and it doesn't seem to do anything with the price. So he could certainly sell billions a week, and probably we won't see a dent. It's all done through OTC with Coinbase, and they make sure that there's price stability. Now, if he has to sell like 100,000 Bitcoin or 300,000 Bitcoin, then it's a different story. But a few thousand here or there doesn't seem to affect things. OTC is basically like an individual transaction between an entity or person to another entity in person. It's off the books, so it doesn't affect the price. Do we have WWE on Clash Picks? Do you really want to make prediction on WWE? I don't even know if anyone really follows it. Well, no one I know follows WWE anymore. You know, if we had people that followed it and could keep up, then yeah, we do have sports, but not WWE. That's kind of crazy. We had a whole bunch. Uh, wow. So look at this. So these two were put up a long time ago, and they both are still accurate now. Seahawks did win yesterday, right? So now you can make predictions on those. We have a couple games that's up, but we'll have a lot more. We've been having like 6 events every day, and you know, around the playoffs we had a lot more. We'll have a lot more for a Super Bowl. We could do individual like stats of players, and you know, we could do it by quarter, what they're going to be scoring per quarter, what the end score will be, whether there's going to be, you know, how many field goals, how many touchdowns. We'll have like a crazy amount for the Super Bowl. But no, we don't have WWE. I still remember in college, people were still like going nuts about WWE. But the thing is, you look at the stadiums, it's still very packed, full of adults. People love. It's like male soap opera. A lot of price predictions in here. We got culture stuff. Some people said that their spouses, you know, want to predict on Oscar stuff. We have that in here. And of course, finance. You know, keep in mind, this is just beta, okay? This is not the production. Production, we will have a lot more events. I will have my team create 1,000,000 events for everyone. Right now it's beta, so we have volunteers. We have the team making it. We're still fixing bugs and stuff like that, but we're nearly complete. Nearly complete. And it's free for all. Anyone can come on here, claim P Clash, which we give out for free. And you get a multiplier of that if you hold Clash or you hold NFT or you refer friends. Otherwise, you just have the base amount of 100 and you get to use that every single week, absolutely free. And there's real rewards. Even though you're getting this for free, real rewards based on your performance. That's what the leaderboard is for. You get to share a percentage of all the Clash that we collect in fees for the top 5 people. So you have real motive, real incentive to do well with P Clash. Real rewards. No one else has this. It's going to be really amazing. This is for the month, even though I don't think we've been beta testing for a month. But I showed Clash ROI 62%. This AVM6 ROI 172%. And then you got a lot of these guys that have just a lot of really good returns. They're just really good at making predictions. This is skill-based. Skill-based predictions, not gambling. Every country should put itself first. I mean, that's the point of the president, right? So you can't even fault, you know, like when I looked at this article, you can't fault Trump for going America first. But there's ways to do it, obviously, right? But he's a businessman, so he has his own ways of negotiating, pushing really far to one side and then coming back in the middle, something like that. It's working. It's working. He's pretty much getting what he wants, but unfortunately, it's not working for markets. Markets hate it. Every time he does something like this, markets react very negatively. But he seems to be getting what he wants with Greenland. He's getting what he's want for sure with Canada. And I don't know what else he's going to pull. Canada's caved hard. with threats of tariffs, Canada's like, we're not gonna be doing this anymore. I met Hulk Hogan, Cena, and The Rock all at different gyms. I would like to meet John Cena. He seems like a cool guy. But he seems to have some serious health issues now. Like he walks funny. I hear he has really bad back problems or something. I feel sorry for him. I'm like, it can't be easy to be a pro wrestler. Even though it's all scripted, I know that. But the physical toll is crazy. They're getting slammed and they're jumping off things and they're getting hit all the time, nonstop. They're traveling like 200 plus days a year. Like if you do that for 20 years, don't tell me there's no toll. We're seeing good recovery right now. A decent recovery, not say good. A decent recovery right now. Risky business, yes, exactly. As a Canadian, we're cooked. Like I want to take a poll from you guys, from you Canadians. Would you rather just become a 51st state, or would you like to stay independent as your own country? Because I don't know, it could be biased, but a lot of Canadians that chime in say the country's effed and they hate it. So I'm assuming you guys would just prefer that you just become American state. I don't know. You guys chime in. There's a lot of Canadians watching. Okay. Most people are saying stay independent. What's the benefit by becoming a 51st state? That's a good question. I don't know. You get the security of the US, but you kind of get that for free because we kind of have to protect Canada, because if we get invaded, they're going to come from Canada or fly over Canada. So you get that. But I don't actually know what else you get. I mean, I visited Canada. I visited Toronto many times, and was it Ontario? No, not Ontario. Vancouver recently. I mean, I couldn't tell I was in Canada. It just felt like a U.S. city, really. Like, I don't know what the difference is anymore. Everyone spoke English, everything, all the American cars and fast food chains are there. Clarkson reacts says they say that till it comes to a war, then they come crying for help. I mean, yeah, basically the biggest thing is security. The U.S. will definitely protect them. I mean, it seems to be like half-half. Half people say independent, half say join. I don't know. I guess it's like with anything. Canada has also helped the U.S. in every war. I don't know about that. Did Canada help with D-Day and help take down the Germans and the Japanese? I don't know. I wasn't around back then, but I've never heard Canada coming to help the U.S. I'm signing a petition for Alberta to leave Canada. Frosted Flake says, that's like your 3-year-old helping you to fix your car. Oh, Americans are very arrogant, but it's true. Canada helping the US in wars, it's just manpower, but all the technology, all the missiles and ships and airplanes are all American. Is silver still going up? Yeah, silver is still going up, 112. But Bitcoin's coming back up, almost 89,000. We're almost back to where we were. Just need to push up another $1,000. Well, my Canadian dollars instantly convert to American dollars. Isn't Canada dollars now? It's way less versus US dollar. It's like half. Blackbeard says, coughing and listening to you makes me happy. Thank you. I appreciate it. Canada hits their citizens with horrible taxes. I spoke to a guy who makes less than 50% of his gross income. That's true. That's the thing. A lot of people in America say, well, I love to get free healthcare, just like Canadians, but they don't realize Canadians pay enormous amount of taxes to make up for the free healthcare. And the free healthcare is not so beneficial either. I've been told you have to wait months to see a doctor sometimes. So there's good and bad for every situation, but the money has to come from somewhere. It's either you pay more taxes or the government has to print more and then debases the currency. I mean, I remember years ago when the Canadian dollar was actually worth more than the US dollar. And now it's totally the opposite. It completely flipped. It's like it's worth like 50% less. Let's see if I can. Not 50%, but 37%. 1 US dollar equals 1.37 Canadian dollar. So a 37% difference. If you need urgent healthcare, you could pay for private in Canada. Well, then see, it's kind of the same thing, right? You're already paying for a lot of taxes, and then you have to pay more for private healthcare. I'm sure of course you pay, you go always get something done, but like, is it really better then? I don't know. I'm not saying the U.S. healthcare is good at all. It's super expensive. Even me, I pay enormous amount because I don't have healthcare from a big company. So I'm not saying it's the best. I'm just saying there's always trade-offs. The grass always seems greener on the other side until you join it. Real Madrid says, well, gee, the grass is dead here in the U.S. It's not as bad as you make it seem, all right? We got plenty of goodness here. People like to complain. People don't realize how good we have it. I mean, yeah, we have our problems. Everyone has their problems. Every family has their problems. Every individual has their own problems. But when you compare to people that have worse problems, then you realize you don't have it so bad. Okay, so that's the best way to look at it. There's always someone that has it worse than you. All right, enough Canada talk. Today we're seeing a little green, which is good. We got to get through all this geopolitical and macro stuff. We need that jolt, that momentum. But OGs are still loading up, that's for sure. They're not going away. But right now, everyone's FOMOing into gold and silver. That's the safe play right now, and the risky play too, because you know eventually they're gonna come down. But stay strong, my friends. Join us in Clash in our Discord. Test out Clash picks. It's going to be the future. You don't want to miss it. I will see you guys later tonight. Smash it a like, subscribe to the channel. Have a good one, guys. Take care.